Good afternoon. This is David. Hope y'all are doing well. Wanted to come at you with a new video. This one is called Everything is Inside. And the gist of this video is, that my awareness of reality is dictated by my internal consciousness, not the external world. And that's something at 47 years old I've really just come to grasp. And so the reason I want to put this video out is because I know that this is the case, verbatim, 100%. And I want to share it with other people so that, you can understand this at a much younger age. It's definitely not something we're taught in school or focused on in churches and things like that. Before we get started, I wanted to share Yerba Madre. This is their original unsweetened. They're not sponsoring the video, but just sharing healthy options for people. No sugar, naturally caffeinated, good stuff. Everything is inside. This video will be pretty short, but I basically just want to say that my consciousness today determines my reality tomorrow, and so on and so on. My consciousness, my internal consciousness, my perception of and reality of the world, not anybody else's, not what happens outside whenever I go outside today or tomorrow. It doesn't. It's inside that counts, and keeping that internal candle flame burning. That's where it's at, and it took me a long time to grasp that. One of the reasons why is because what we do every night, the way the world works, we may not think so, and that's fine. But when you go to bed at night, the life that you had, if you were in worry and if you were in complete panic and worry and stress today, you're going on a negative loop spiral. And when you wake up in the morning, you might be on a slightly different planet and planetary experience, just very slightly, because that's how the world works. And if you're in strong positivity, you may be in a slightly better planet, where all of a sudden you notice people are a little bit nicer, and there's a million shades of gray on the positive spectrum and on the negative spectrum. So what I feel is if you had a so-so day, you may shift slightly positive, slightly negative, just like one planet over. But if you have a highly positive day, maybe that's 10 planetary shifts or 10 planetary shifts in the negative framework. That is how reality actually functions. And we are constantly running from one world to the other world, both either positive or negative. Now, my life, and also beyond positive and negative, this is kind of attuned to manifestation in the sense that what you want or what you don't want, which tends to be positive, negative, because somebody could say, oh, I want a car, or they could say, I want, so-and-so, I want this certain person to date in my life. That manifests, and then ultimately you realize, well, that person was not that great. Okay, that's called life. So you may think at the time it's positive, it may not be that great, but it's all a lesson nonetheless. So not to say all of this, like I said, there's a million shades of gray, and it may not all be positive, negative, as black and white as that. However, the way I have lived my life is as externally focused for a vast majority of my life, because that's what we were taught. That's what I was taught. My life today was dictated by what's going to happen today. Am I going to have a good day, or am I going to have a bad day? And that's all dependent on the world out there. Let's look at a couple things. Let's look at the beauty industry. We watched this movie called Koyaanisqatsi. Good movie. I'll try to link to it in the video, and talking about the beauty industry and just how many people put tons and tons of makeup on cosmetics, and how we're bombarded by advertisements. And what do they say? Oh, you have to do this, you have to do this. So we feel like we really have to look good. We have to be presentable. We have to go through all these hoops, right? And all of that is external to us. None of that is that internal candle flame that comes from within. Now, same thing with other people's opinions. Most of us are highly in tune, or a lot of us anyway, are highly in tune with the opinions of other people. And I commonly have said, well, I don't know, let me go ask so-and-so, let me go ask so-and-so if I have a new idea. When you finally put the brakes on that and you say, what about, I'm the one that created the idea. What about my own intuition? What if I just don't tell this idea to anyone? I remember my mother-in-law, I had this idea of standing furniture back around 2014 and 2015. And I told her, and I said, yeah, it's a standing desk, and I'm going to make them from my furniture shop and my garage. And I was so excited, and I did. I made them and I sold them. Most of the customers, by the way, tended to be younger people into health consciousness. And I remember her laughing in my face and saying, ha ha ha, nobody's ever going to buy that. And she probably didn't think anything of it, but kind of upset me a little bit. In hindsight, I forget the brand of standing desk. It's called Veridesk, but it's a multi-million-dollar industry. It might even be a billion-dollar industry now, 10 years later. So obviously I was right. And, she couldn't perceive, and at the time that upset me. Well, look, entrepreneurs, especially innovators, need to listen to that internal candle flame and really probably not share those ideas with other people. And the third thing I'd say is, this whole mantra we have in this country of keeping up with the Joneses. Like where I live in Texas is a keeping up with the Joneses neighborhood, where I raised my family. And we didn't always live in a neighborhood like that, but that's freaking America. That's what we're bought and sold on TV. And we have been brainwashed with that since we were little. And even our parents before us. So, let's look at all that external garbage and junk and remember to meditate, remember to be inside. So back to what I was saying about everything is inside. And here's the big thesis of the video. If we constantly shift planetary worlds based on our internal consciousness at any time, then what is inside of us is vastly superior to anything in the external world. And so the bottom line there is not to get bogged down by external things, no matter what your reality is. Keep that internal flame of consciousness peaceful, peace-filled, and all hell could be breaking loose around you. Chickens with their heads cut off, people running around, the sky's falling, right? Keep your wits about you. You have the power to change your reality. That's your internal consciousness that literally dictates your reality. And so you can change it. And whatever the circumstances, you can improve it. Now, am I saying if you're a prisoner, you can immediately get out of jail? No, I'm not saying that. But you can manifest beyond anything you could possibly believe. And we are really limited by our beliefs. Last thing I want to say to that degree is powerful, prayer-filled intention. Powerful, prayer-filled intention and conviction, and how important that is. And the reason is because conviction and passion, we talked earlier on, if you have a slightly good day or a slightly bad day, you might move a little bit here, you might move a little bit there, you might stay in the same place. But if you have conviction and intensity and power and you pray, you can move mountains. You can move much, much quicker and more rapidly. And there's amazing things I can say. A friend of mine, for example, who was in a really dead-end job, their boss was actively trying to get them fired. And, they were so miserable that they got to a point where they cried in a car in the parking lot, and they just prayed to God, and they said with a lot of intensity and enthusiasm, I don't know what, basically he said, I don't know what your will is for me, but please help me find something, a solid position in an environment, a positive environment. And they really let it out emotionally, and with that intensity, immediately got a phone call to set up an interview. And that interview was a long story that didn't lead to the direct hire, but it led to another opportunity with that group, and they got a position. And a year later, they're very happy. So I've seen it too in the last job I had, which was it was a corporate job that kept getting worse and worse. And every time we go into the office, I didn't really want to be there. Prayer was important to me to have a good day there, because when I didn't pray, even when coming back from lunch, when I didn't have intense prayer, I'd have a crappy afternoon. But if I could stay with intention, stay focused, I would do fine. So it's not just at nighttime before you go to bed. It's in the daytime. In the morning is hypercritical. The morning really dictates how your day is going to go. So this is very important to do first thing when you get out of bed, and to stay in gratitude. And this is really not a manifestation video, but it's to show your consciousness, but it of course alludes to that and how the universe works and its principles of what you think about, you bring about. So just the focus of start to try to detach from what's going on around you, just a little bit. And in the sense that if it's a negative thing, if it's a positive thing, then roll with it. For you, then roll with it. But especially if it's a stressful type of environment or situation, remember that internal consciousness, candle flame. So a couple recommendations: Eckhart Tolle, that's very important. And also, lastly, this really hits the nail on the head. This video from Trevor Hall called Two Oceans. And in that video, I love it so much because it's this dude who's just walking, minding his business, and everybody's laughing at him, kind of dumping on him, criticizing him. And at the end, it's kind of a spiritual journey. It's not just a regular video. It's a spiritual awakening and a journey. And in that, though, he's really getting to, he's sorting through that. And he's annoyed the whole video, but he's walking nonetheless, getting through it, just trying to stay inside. And at the end of the video, is able to meditate and move on. And oh, by the way, when he does that, guess what? All the negativity's gone. He's with like-minded individuals. That's how the universe works. That's how God works. Okay, I'm gonna let it go there. Y'all have a great day. I love you guys. Take care.